Hi, I'm Chris Lepkeman, longtime whittler. Been carving for many years. Helped pay for college 50 years ago this year with a pocket knife. Written a number of books, 5 with Fox Chapel and 3 previous to that. And a lot of fun ideas of what you can do with a pocket knife and tree branches or other scraps of wood. What I'm going to do right now is just talk a little bit about knives, the kind of knives that I use, and for this type carving. Other people, I'm sure, have used other knives to do the exact same type carving. Most wood carvers have a fixed handle, fixed bladed knife, somewhat like this. Might be a little bit bigger blade, but the one problem with this, at least for me, I like to have my knife with me all the time. I used to carve on airplanes all the time, no more. But before 9/11, I carved across the Atlantic, across the Pacific, all over the United States on airplanes, and people loved it. But the problem with a knife like this is you'd have to have a little thing to cover the blade, and it might slip off and might stab yourself. But a pocket knife is good anywhere. And I've enjoyed working with a pocket knife for many years. Any knife will work as long as it has good steel, takes an edge well, sharpens well. I've been using lately for the last 20-some years a Swiss Army knife. It's not that it's the only knife that'll work, but it is a good knife. It has good steel, it takes an edge well, it sharpens well. The knife I started out with 50 years ago was an old Barlow knife like this, bought in a country store in Glendale Springs, North Carolina. I think it cost me $1.95, maybe $2.95. But I helped pay for my senior year of college with that $1.95, $2.95 knife. And then after that, this little knife here by, let's use this, in Providence, Rhode Island. It was my go-to knife for a long time. And then I made the mistake of lending it to somebody who opened a paint can with it, and that became, that's my small blade, and it just totally wrecked my knife because the main blade I use in carving is the small blade. I use the big blade some, but the little blade for almost everything. This is an old knife that I got at I think a flea market or an antique show or something like that. It's probably from the 1800s. That'll work. This is a little knife from Portugal. That'll work. It has 2 blades. This is the main working blade here, and this is the larger blade. This one here has a very interesting story. If you look at the, right here, it's hard to see from where you are, but the aluminum sheaths on the sides are all worn out. What happened is I was repairing a cow. A plastic cow at the Amish farming house, and I had reached inside to unscrew the udders, and I forgot my knife in there because I was using it to do something. When I found the knife 6 months later, the blade was fine, but the aluminum had gotten chewed up. But you know what? It still works. It's one of my favorite knives. So you don't need a special knife. You need a sharp knife. And if the knife isn't sharp, don't even think about it. So sharp knife, 2 blades. Small blade is the main one that works. And one recommendation, I would not get some of the imitation knives that are out there that look like, you know, the Swiss Army knives, because the steel is not really good, and they don't take an edge well, and they won't sharpen well. So I'm just putting that little advice out there. If you're going to get a knife, get a good one, and it'll serve you for many years. One of my knives, just one knife, has over $160,000 worth of carvings on it. So it doesn't owe me anything at all. Okay, now that you have an idea of what knife you want to have to work with, you can go to our next video that shows how to sharpen and hone a knife. That's very important.